All right, we are live. What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. How's everybody doing? First in the chat, we got Stang 2007. What up, Stang? Hope you and the family are doing well. We have Craig Lilly in the house. What up, Craig? We got Techie Tech. We have Jensen. Not that Jensen. Unless we got Giant Robots. What up? What up, In Decline? Which person was it? In Decline that was planning on visiting Cost Plus Gaming? Am I remembering that correctly? If so, any progress on that? Let's see. What up, Benzarino? Yes, Battlefield 6. People are waiting for. I've been seeing stuff on Battlefield 6. I've never been a huge Battlefield fan. Let's see, Battlefield 6. When is that coming out? Oh, beta code. Okay, so it's still not going to be out for, it looks like, a couple of months. Yeah, it's looking like October, but it looks like they have, like, betas or playtests. So, you guys are excited about that. But yeah, never been huge into Battlefield. At one point in time, I did like Call of Duty, but these days, not so much. What up, Chris? What up, KL130? Hello, hello, hello. We got Scott Gordon in the house. What up, fellow nerds? In Decline is going to use their Core i9 1390KF until its wheels fall off. How long will it be good for, though? I think a long time. That's only like... I consider it like a one major generation behind. Because the Ultra series was like not really an improvement generation. And then 14th and 13th and 12th, I kind of consider all relatively in the same ballpark. And if you're a majority a gamer and it was an i9, like kind of like the top of the class, CPUs, I mean, we got people who push the limits of how long they use their CPUs, right? Like straight up 10 years. I think that's a little extreme. 10 years is a bit much. But I think more realistically, high-end CPUs can be pushed like 6-7 years. It just depends though. If you are someone who's always using the newest like stuff, high-end stuff, and you're like constantly upgrading your graphics cards, then yeah, it'll fall behind sooner. But it's definitely going to be usable for a while. What up, Reluctant Hero? Hello, hello, hello. What up, Beans? Tech Blacksmith in the house. Chris gets to be here today. You do, Chris. What up, Justin? Hello, Razor. Yo, Danny, did you see all the stuff about the YouTube censorship, internet censorship? I saw the Steam censorship stuff, but that might be unrelated. Catch me up real quick about the... oh, wait. Are we talking about, like, the age verification thing? There's a lot going on in terms of the internet lately. I kind of mix the topics together, but internet and YouTube censorship. Are we talking about, like, the age verification stuff, or is there something else that I'm not thinking of or just completely missed? If it's the age verification stuff, I don't know. I might be one of the few people because I've already been annoyed. I'm annoyed at bots and fake accounts and all that stuff. So maybe I don't care about age verification, but I care about kind of identity verification. Not in a way that like, oh, I want the government to be watching us, but I want a good way to eliminate bots, fake accounts, malicious accounts and things like that. Because as a content creator, I see that a lot. They interact with my videos all the time. They target me specifically in emails, YouTube comments, DMs, even to some degree, like robocalls and stuff. I definitely get a lot more than like my wife does, just because once your internet's out, your information's out there, it's out there. But yeah, what are we talking about here specifically? Hey, I was super AFK last stream, so glad I could be in today. What up, Robert Fix It? Welcome to the stream. No worries. If you guys got to lurk, feel free to lurk. We're just chilling. The streams are, like, they're not, you know, the most important thing in the world. I'm just here to hang out, chill, talk to you guys. The VOD's always there, and there's always next week. So, yeah, if you got life stuff, you're working on things in the background, focus on that, you know. We're just here for a good time. And hopefully a long time. Razer is using an i7 7700K. That's kind of pushing it, but surprisingly, I did do a video with 6700, or was it 6600? With like, I did some video on a Skylake processor. I forget now. I think it might have been a 6600, yeah. And it just like surprisingly can play a lot of games reasonably well. Despite being what, 9-ish years old now? 8? I think it's 9 years old. But yeah. CPUs, they can get carried by the graphics card real hard in terms of gaming. If you're trying to do other stuff like streaming or I don't know, compiling stuff, video editing, then yeah, it might be a little tougher, but for just purely gaming, you can get by with old CPUs. Also, Chris said he would buy me Arby's if I was in the stream. Arby's is awesome. I can't even remember the last time I had Arby's. It's just not my go-to. I don't know. Not really a sandwich kind of person like that. And if I do, I'll go somewhere else for it. I do like me a Philly cheesesteak, though, with all the fixin', like caramelized grilled onions, peppers, jalapenos, multiple cheeses. But yeah. Just bought a 12400 today at Micro Center for $120. I'm getting closer to building my Plex media server. I need to research my large storage SSD. Now I need to research large storage. SSD or HDD? Well, most people do the like a 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte, or even two of them in RAID for like a cache drive, right? And then for your large other storage is HDD. I don't think you can go large storage SSD unless you are rich or don't have a ton of data to like back up. But okay, you were talking about the verification. So yeah, the whole verification thing, I see the internet kind of up in arms about it, and I'm curious to hear you guys' thoughts too. So governments around the world are trying to regulate the internet, and you know, before you can use a website or something, it's going to try to verify your age. There's a lot more details that are going into it. I haven't looked heavily into it, but I remember they talked about it on the WAN show recently, among other things. But I think the issue is people don't trust the government. But by itself, verification, whether it be age verification, identity verification, I don't think that is necessarily a bad thing. I actually think it's a good thing if you just remove all biases and just look objectively at it. Because there are some websites that you should be a certain age only to be able to use. And there are some websites where if you get banned, you shouldn't be able to just make multiple accounts and keep on using it to, you know, do malicious things. But the way that that is going to be regulated and controlled, not many people, myself included, don't have much hope in terms of like a successful solution for that, because that's going to require giving government or some of these companies way too much power, and they're going to scrape your information, collect it, and then just sell it or do whatever else aside from the main goal of the verification and of your age and identity and stuff. So what are my thoughts on it? I wish there was like just an all perfect solution that everyone can just accept and make the internet a safer and better place in general. Just like many things in real life, like politics, among others, it's not a simple solution. There's not an agreed way to approach it, and there's always going to be, you know, holes that can be poked in it, and it can be abused. So, yeah, I don't know. Too much AI slop for YouTube videos and commentators. Yes, I agree. Exactly. I annoyingly came across I come across AI slop channels all over YouTube every single day. And my goal is to always go to their pinned comment and point out the fact that they're using stolen content and just basically abusing the system. But it is what it is, unfortunately. I don't think the issue is so much of it being seen as censorship, but rather centralized databases having extreme. Yeah, that's a tough thing though, right? Because there are. Let me think about how to say this. Centralized databases having extremely critical information. There's already a decent amount of, I guess, companies or organizations that do have a lot of people's information. And even some of the biggest, most important ones that you would think would be safe and is pretty necessary. Like I would think like healthcare, health insurance, things like that, insurance in general. These are all agencies that are held in high regard. They're pretty much necessary, I guess, depending on where you live in the world. At least if you live in like a, a first world country or like in the States or North America, like your information is out there and these companies have it, and they have online portals and online access for you for convenience sake instead of doing paper mailing like back in the day. But some of these organizations and agencies, they've had their databases hacked and breached. So I mean, I don't know what the solution is, right? We live in an age of basically everything is online. So and I think a lot of us kind of go along with it and agree with it for the convenience factor. So I don't think there will ever be any bulletproof solutions like cybersecurity wise to protect your information. So I don't know. Are people more upset about age verification and like their information being leaked by YouTube and stuff like that, or when a major like hospital or insurance company or something not loses their information but gets hacked and that gets leaked? I'm not saying one way or the other. Again, this is a complex topic that you could go on and argue days and days about. Lewis Cox says, "Hey, I need help with my PC build. Can I send you a PC part picker list?" Yes. So we have a Discord channel. Here's the Discord channel. There's a stream submissions channel. Hey, Robert Fixes posted some stuff, but the link to join the Discord is down below. If you post it in the stream submissions, I can take a look. Just give me some details on it, and when we get to that part of the stream, we can do that. We're just chilling right now. Before we get into the first topic of the stream, and then we can kind of go. Oh, I do have some plugs. I gotta plug myself, and then we can look at deal hunting stuff, looking at people's builds, setups, all that good stuff. We go wherever the stream takes us. I'm running an Intel Core i9 1390KF and two 1080 Ti's in SI for the lulz. If you're trying to sell those 1080 Ti's for cheap once you're done with them, let me know. Or at least I'm interested in picking up a 1080 Ti. Ideally, I think I would like to get the Founders Edition, and if not, an EVGA model. But I think the 1080 Ti, I have never used a 1080 Ti in any build of my own, in any builds that I built for people over the years, in any revisit videos. It's too legendary of a card for me not to get my hands on and make some kind of content with and just to have. So I'm like trying to find a good deal on a 1080 Ti, but they're kind of still pricey for what they are right now. So I'm just kind of waiting for the prices to drop more. Though it's still such a good card that's why it still retains like a high value. What up, Misty Hill? Hello, hello, hello. My go-to is banh mi. Yes, for sandwiches, I actually just had a banh mi yesterday. And then afterwards, I picked up Domino's just because pizza is a cheap, quick solution to food when you're low on time. What up, Pete Dunn? Hope all is going well with family. I still have an X99 platform running on a 5960X. That's your main build, or are you just playing around with that build? And nice. If it's your main one. If it's not, then still nice. But yeah, I love hearing people that are still making it work with kind of, older platforms or more obscure platforms. Okay. Penguin Zero has been covering it very well. I wouldn't watch it on stream. He does use a lot of profanity. I have not been watching Penguin Zero or Moist Critical recently, but okay. He's covering it pretty well. I'll go watch a summary video or something. Age verification is not bad at all. It's the fact that, again, we're giving up info for someone else to sell. Anyone thinking otherwise is probably getting bonus from selling it, lol. What is the purpose of bot farm servers like I've seen being built with expansion cards? I've not heard of bot farm servers. You already tried to put together a 57 Ti build and I can't get it to work. Can I help? I cannot help live on stream right now. That would take way too long. You can post in either tech support, but yeah, other people can try to help you out. But depending on what the problem is, first thing is reseat everything. Second is take the graphics card out, and if you have integrated graphics, try and make it work with integrated graphics. You can also unplug the SSD and only put in one stick of RAM at a time. See if that does it, and see if you can get into BIOS. But there's like a long list of troubleshooting things that you can do, but it's really hard to do that over the internet, like without seeing it. So yeah, try those things, and then post in tech support if you need further help. What do you think about YouTube and Spotify wanting ID to use their services? Again, we talked about this months ago. Remember with the bots buying up all the graphics cards? I would be okay with giving Newegg like a scanned picture of my ID if that meant that all the bots and scalpers and stuff got eliminated from the platform because they can't run 100 different ones buying up everything at once. I already give Newegg my name, my address, my phone number. Don't you guys? When you guys buy from Amazon and stuff like that, don't you use your real name and include your real address and stuff? Are you guys like shipping these to like Amazon lockers or third party, PO boxes and stuff like that? Like all these companies have basically everything on your driver's license already, minus your driver's license number, I guess. But they have your date of birth unless you lied about that. Again, I'm not trying to say that I want all these companies to have my information, but they already have most of it. And if it means giving them just a little bit more to make the internet a cleaner and supposedly safer place, which we don't know if that's actually going to happen, then I wouldn't be completely against it. But obviously there's not a quick and easy way for them to like implement all of this, and there's still going to be holes and ways around it. So I don't know. I think it's a very, very complex topic. But I mean, I know a lot of people are very much about their privacy and all of that. But unless you're like not using like Gmail, Google, and like just offline completely, then I don't know if you're already like feeding into giving these companies information. They said yes, I saw the thing about the biometric data where if you, well, it's kind of weird. They're saying they could use AI to have you like hold your phone up to your face and it can scan your face and it can try to like guess your age. And that sounded kind of like a workaround so that you didn't have to submit an ID, but it'll scan your face. But then now it has your biometric data, which what's more valuable to you? In terms of biometric data, I mean, I'm a content creator. My face at all angles is already out on the internet. So, me personally, I feel like if someone wanted to, even though it's not like a biometric, 3D scan, it's every angle in 2D possible, right? You can scrape all my videos and pictures I've posted over the years. So I don't know. I'm in a different situation, right? I think cracking down on bots and fake and malicious accounts and stuff definitely benefits me a lot, and it's up for discussion how much it benefits all of you guys. I don't know. Do you guys like going on Twitter, Reddit, YouTube and stuff and just seeing a bunch of porn bots and like these fake accounts and making fake comments and these AI slop YouTube channels and all that stuff? I feel like you guys would also benefit from a cleaner internet, but the road to get there is not an easy one. Can we go to Hawaii? Why we need to go to Hawaii? I used the 1080 for like 5 years and it really did perform decently even in modern titles. I think a 1080 still performs well now. I think a 1070 Ti and 1070 still performs decently now. You could still play new titles at 1080p low, but it's still playing it. They won't be supporting the 1080 Ti. They won't have official driver support, but there are plenty of cards that have lost driver support, like official driver support, but they just still work fine. Just because the graphics card loses driver updates doesn't mean that it becomes useless. It's just not going to be like super fine-tuned optimized for new released games and things like that, but it can still play them, and in a lot of cases play them well. So that's not a problem. Would getting a 23060 12 gig be better than getting one 5060 Ti 16 gigs? Would getting two of them? Are you trying to do like the two graphics card, one lossless scaling, one using it mainly? I don't know if I think that would be better. I think just getting the 5060 Ti and using like the newest DLSS and frame generation, multi-frame generation, that is like, that would be the better play. Assuming they're for the same price, I'm guessing. I don't know. I would think just single card solution, unless you're trying to deal with putting two cards in at the same time, having a power supply that can supply both of them, which I guess the 3060 is not that hard. It should be like a single 8-pin, maybe 8-pin, 6-pin, but most power supplies should support that. So I don't know. Yeah. I've been here for years now. They should know that I'm above 18. And it's going to result in people buying old YouTube accounts to bypass it, right? So, yeah, I don't know what the solution is. Pete Dunn, I also have a 6950X with the EVGA 1080 as my main right now. It's a B650. Okay, so you have a 3700X, though. That could use an upgrade, and a 2080 Ti. Actually, I have a 1080 Ti. If you send me 100 and a self-address packing box, I'll send. What kind of 1080 Ti? Oh, EVGA, which kind? Let me take a look real quick. Hold that thought. Actually, what am I doing? I should search in the stream. Because 1080 Ti's, those are still going for what? If I had to guess, I haven't checked the price on eBay for a while. 1080 Ti, let's see, 140 would be my guess. That might be high, maybe 130. We'll see. Oh, I'm seeing one for 154. Let's see what the lowest price one is. If I wanted to buy a working condition 1080 Ti, we'll go for used 1080 Ti Duke. $100. And it's a black MSI Duke version, but okay, let's see what the first. Here's a mining 1080 Ti. Come on, where's the good ones? Where's the EVJ or Founders? Yeah, look at the price. So there are some cheaper ones, interestingly enough. Oh, this one's missing a fan, so that price doesn't count. Wait, what? Is there anything wrong with this one? Okay, used. Doesn't say anything wrong. It is a new account though, which, I mean, if you're gonna scam someone, well, they don't even have a picture of the real product, interestingly enough. So maybe this is a scam. What do you guys think? $100 for this thing. You think it's a scam? No real photo. They're using an Amazon phone screenshot. The weird thing to me is, if you're gonna scam, why are you doing it? Like, this is the most low effort scammer, right? So they have no reputation, which I'm okay with, right? Everyone starts somewhere. So zero reputation isn't, their name seems pretty normal. It's not a bunch of random letters. It's a Scenic 87, which could be like the year they were born, or they just particularly like 1987. So the name kind of checks out. The issue is, like, you could go online and find a photo of this from, like, Reddit or Twitter, or I don't know, just something. You could find a picture that someone else took of a real card and just use it. You could trace it with, the, what's that, reverse image search, but it's just like, no effort was put into this because this makes me almost think it's real, because they're using phone screenshots. So like they were just too lazy to actually go take a photo, but they really did want to post it from their phone, right? Because I would imagine, I don't know, people do, bots and stuff doing this, they would do it from the PC and post like more horizontal landscape type photos. But also, the amount of effort it took to make this, they could have done it with a more expensive graphics card. Why not do it with the 5090 or 5080 or like something that's just more valuable? Like you're gonna sacrifice this account to, you know, scam someone and then get it eventually banned or deleted for $100. That's why I'm kind of 50-50 on this. 50-50 chance it's a scam. Roll the dice. Facebook has started to use biometric data and it had my age off by 11 years, but I do believe it's for the better on the internet. Yeah, I don't know. I think people have split mixed feelings about this. We're going to just see how they go. I'm just going along with it, right? It's not like we really have that much of a say in it. If they decide to do it, I mean, I guess you could vote, but I'm pretty sure most of us have voted for a lot of things, and how's that turning out for us? But anyways, I'm not saying not to vote. Always vote, but you know. Okay, let's see. Justin asked, "Hey Danny, how important is QVL supported memory? I had to do an exchange for some faulty RAM and microserver today, and a new set isn't listed." Honestly, I don't even check QVLs most of the time. If you've looked at QVL lists at all, a lot of them have like super extensive lists of memory supported anyways. So the chances of something not being QVL supported is already pretty low if you're sticking to like pretty standard kits. Maybe if you're going for like extremely like high-end kits or, you know, like super fast speeds, more like niche products, then it might not be. But then just because it's not on the QVL list doesn't mean it's not supported. It might just not have been tested, right? But it could be fine. So I think I've had pretty good luck of just buying whatever memory that fits my price, fits the specs that I'm going for, and not even checking the QVL list. I don't think I've ever had a kit of memory where it was problematic, except working with like a supported motherboard, but not working with an unsupported motherboard, and it ended up being specifically a QVL problem and not like because the sticks were bad. So I think you're fine. I wouldn't worry too much about it. If it runs stable, you know, just do like an OCC test, memory test, do mem test, just like use your PC extensively in the return window, and you should be fine. I wouldn't worry about it. Greyman Meter says the 3060 12 gig is $299 on Zon. What the heck is Zon? So 2 would be 500, whereas, yeah, I would just get the single 5060 Ti. Also, Greyman Media, where are you from? Let me look at this up. What, Zon? Oh, Amazon. Are we talking about Amazon? Or are we talking about something else here? Where do you think is the best website apps wherever compare components? When I was upgrading my card, it was hard to tell which card's better. YouTube. Look at what graphics card you want and what you currently have. Okay, there's two. So there's Tech Power Up, which is like a quick glance. You can go Tech Power Up, type in like whatever graphics card you have. And then you can go to this relative performance chart and it will tell you, kind of like, all right, let's say you have a 12 gigabyte 3060 and you're looking at, I don't know, a 9060 XT 8 gigabyte. It's like, oh, okay, you should expect around 50% more performance. Let me zoom in so you can actually see this thing. But yeah, so Tech Power Up for, they don't do a CPU one, I don't think. You would go to Tom's Hardware, but type in like CPU hierarchy into Google and you will get this Tom's Hardware benchmarks and hierarchy. And this kind of shows you some relative performance of stuff, but they also have a more extensive list that has more processors on it. And it shows you like the relative performance. So like the 9800 X3D, this is how you read the chart. 9800 X3D, they say this is the best one. Everything else is relative to it. So you're gonna have to do like some inverse math, or you can look at it for what it is. Like, let's say you have a 14400 and you are thinking of upgrading to a 9900X. So you take your 74.09 divided by 52.67, and you're gonna get somewhere in the ballpark of like 40 to 50% uplift. So I would say tech power up, Tom's Hardware, and then just straight up YouTube. You type in this versus that into YouTube, and then you look for benchmarks, and you watch them side by side, and then you make the judgment. Dropped a couple forward with PC flips and stream submissions. All right, I'll take a look at that. I only check QB. Yes, exactly, Chris. That is a good point. We only check the QBL lists if it doesn't work. And that's after we bought it already. Because most of the time, a lot of these kits, they're like popular enough that they will be on the lists. I don't even remember, like, remember when they said, what's it called? The early AM5 ones had like memory problems. I never had problems with any AM5 builds, even like, you know, within the first year of building, with memory. My best friend is going to sell me his 1080 Ti for $40 because he has 3 other graphics cards, doesn't use. Oh, that's a great price. My goodness. $40, super cheap. What up, Hazard Me? Welcome to the stream. It passed MEM tests and OCCT. Okay. Oh no, it passed OCCT, CPU, and memory test with no errors. Yeah, you should be good. Don't worry about it. Also, try to keep your desired capacity to 2 sticks at 4. 4 can sometimes be problematic for enable at XMP. Yeah, the issue about that is you kind of leave yourself, I guess, up in the air for if you do want to upgrade down the line. You won't know if your motherboard has problems, but then there might be BIOS updates to fix that and stuff. So we'll have to see. I guess most people are gonna be putting 2 sticks, 16 gigs each for 32 gigs into their like AM5 builds, or just any build nowadays. 32 gigs is so cheap that unless you're on a super tight budget, especially if you're buying DDR5, since 16 gigs are kind of weird to come by. 32 gigs should be enough for most people for a long time. So yeah. Could you explain why a previous series card is better than a newer series card? Because it's not all about newer stuff is not always better. Because what's the best way to describe this? Like in an analogy that's outside of the PC space. I don't want to do it by price because even that gets a little weird. Let's just look at the last 2 generations of cards, right? Let's say last generation, like the highest end card, the 7900 XTX, that was like $1,000+ card when it came out. It's only 1 generation old, you know, like what, 2 years old, 2.5 years old by this point. Today, that card is still really good. In 2.5 years, it's not like the card became crappy. But this generation, they just released $300 cards. There's no way the $300 9060 XT 8GB today, there's no way just because it's newer, that released today at that price is going to be better than a card that released $1,000 2.5 years ago. Technology does not depreciate that quickly, and it also does not make that many leaps and bounds from generation to generation. So, like, we've gone way past the, like, in terms of gen to gen uplift. We're not at the point where every generation you're gonna get super high uplifts as low as price decreases, if that makes sense. That probably does. That's not a good way to put it. This is something that I would probably have to think about more and write it down before I talk about it. But yeah, just think about high-end cards from previous generations can still perform better than low-end cards of current generations. What's up, Mirage Productions? Firstly, congrats on the twins and fatherhood. What are your opinions on PS6 rumored of having approximately GPU compute of 9070 XT? I feel good. I have one of my... What are my thoughts on that? Okay, let me see what is the GPU equivalent of the PS5 Pro. I just need to. Okay, so the PS5 Pro on PC generally consider around the performance level of a 7700 XT or 4060 Ti. Is that the case? Like without any upscaling or like, voodoo magic? Like that is just how powerful it is? I don't follow consoles. This sounds familiar, but and that's all on an APU, right? See, this person said, oh, base PS5 matches this. Okay, so PS5 Pro equivalent. Let me see what people are saying. Is it about a 7700 XT? Okay, so yeah, people are saying it's about a 7700 XT. So the next one being PS6, that seems like that would be a pretty big uplift. Because the 7700 XT for its time was like a $450 card when it released. Now the PS6 Pro, I guess there's a weird gap in Nvidia's pricing, right? You go from a $350 9060 XT 16 GB to then like a friggin' well, supposedly $500, but it's actually $700. So I guess that doesn't seem too unreasonable. What are my thoughts on it though? Grats to the console players because you're gonna need it for GTA 6 among other new games being released. But yeah, I don't have too many opinions on consoles except that the more people gaming, the better. Whether it's on PC, whether it's on console, so long as you're gaming and it's just putting more money into the industry as a whole because game developers, they need their funding from somewhere, and if PC players aren't if there's not enough gamers on the PC side of things, because a lot of games are cross-platform and stuff like that, then pumping money and giving them incentive to keep on making better games, I guess, it's a win for everybody. So, yeah, I think consoles winning is also a win for PC gamers because also if consoles are getting to the point where they're super competitive performance wise and I don't know price wise, it seems like the price of consoles are just going up too, but let's just say they were competitive and it's kind of strikes that PC versus console debate and war that I kind of hate. But if that could make it so that pricing for PC parts somehow just get better because let's say less people. I don't think it's true, but I think more people are going to PC gaming by the day. But let's just say consoles be able to win back some of that market share. Then if that works out to making it more competitively priced on the PC side of things, then we all win. So yeah, that's my thoughts. I'm not a elitist in any way. Like I don't think one is better than the other. People have their preferences. So imagine watching stream and seeing that you bought a flipped PC, lol. Wait, watching stream and seeing that you bought a flipped PC? In what way? Wait, what are we talking about here? Oh, you mean when I look at this? When I look at this, the stream submissions. Yes, I will get to them. Oh, we are 40 minutes in. We got to talk about the main topic, which is actually going to be pretty quick. Give me 1 second. I've been hanging out with chat too much. We got to look at this 9060 non-XT real quick, which is the main topic of today's news. So a lot of the outlets broke it this week. 9060 non-XT GPU specs surface 2048 cores and slower 8 GB GDDR6 memory compared to the XT version. Wait, was this one wrong then? See, this was Monday. When was this? This was August 5th. So this is announced. Performance, specifications of the board partners. Likely, are these the actual? I think these are just the leaked specs. So, why is the 9060 non-XT important? Well, because the cheapest AMD graphics card right now is $300, and to me, that is a little bit too expensive for entry level. I would like to see these companies release $200 to $250 graphics cards. Unfortunately, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. We're talking about this because these will make their way into at least the used market at some point in time, or potentially in markets like global markets like AliExpress and stuff like that. We have seen in the past cards like this card is meant for system integrators and OEMs. So that means you, for the time being, especially since it's so fresh and new, you cannot buy this. This is meant for the system builders and stuff to buy in pre-builts. But as we've seen in the past, products that were meant for system integrators have made its way to AliExpress, and you could have bought it for a pretty good price. So also there's always the chance that someone buys, whatever pre-built from a company that uses the 9060 XT, and then they end up saying, hey, I kind of want more power. I'm going to upgrade my graphics card. Then they sell this thing on eBay or Facebook Marketplace or something. We have seen plenty of these OEM graphics cards pop up in the used market over the years. More recently, I think the most popular one I remember seeing a ton of is like the Dell Alienware OEM 3080 10GB. You guys know that card, right? Let's see. OEM Alienware 3080. Like this thing, if you're in the used PC hardware space, you have seen these cards like no other. So I'm thinking that even though, unfortunately, today this news isn't as exciting because, well, we don't even know what the price is. There's no price because it's not available. It's not going to be available for DIY and builders. But if it hits the used market, hopefully, it would be at a more competitive price. The specs, though, I'm kind of questioning this because this is saying 1792 cores, whereas the Tech Power Up is showing it, and this one saying how many cores? Oh no, this one say so. Was it Tom's Hardware that had it at higher core count? But I'm thinking this thing will be kind of just by looking at these specs. The one good thing is that it is PCIe 5.0 times 16. So unlike the 7600 and 7600 XT, those were times 8. If you got one of these cards somehow in the used market and you threw it into an older like PCIe 3.0 system or something with the times 16 interface, you there's less of like a bottleneck with regards to this specific spec and holding it back. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I'm not sure if there's already benchmarks. I haven't looked at I just learned about this card today actually, so I haven't looked at any benchmarks of these. But it would be nice if we could get something under $300 without coupons and deals. But it doesn't look like that. I guess the 50/50, right? How much are these things going for? $250. I would like to see something from AMD's side that is worth getting, unlike this thing. Okay, let me see. Light Skin Mike says, you think I can upgrade my monitor to 4K and still be able to run a 3080 till next gen comes out? Yeah, 4K is useful for other things aside from gaming. Like just having sharper resolution for your daily browsing, for your video viewing, whether it be on a media player on your PC or watching YouTube videos and consuming content like that or streaming platforms. Having a 4K monitor is beneficial to that. Now, pushing games at 4K with the 3080, not really likely unless all you're playing is League of Legends and Valorant and games like that, and CS2, which can easily push high frames at 4K. But if you're talking about modern gaming, you're definitely going to be running like DLSS and frame generation. And if you're okay with that, then yeah, you could make use of the 4K. But I think gaming aside, there are other benefits to having a 4K monitor. So And your monitor is something that you only, upgrade every how many years, right? Like I usually stick with monitors for like, I mean, I've been on this one for like 5 years, and like yeah, most of my monitors, I haven't bought a new monitor for a long time, and I don't. Well, that one above broke, so I'm gonna buy a used replacement for it. But yeah, I think a lot of people, especially when they go for like once you get a 4K, assuming it's high refresh rate and like a pretty nice one, right? That thing is gonna last you at least 5 or 6 years. I would say most people are upgrading their monitors, especially once you cap out at 4K. I don't know when 8K or any in betweens are gonna be coming, but I think 4K should be good for a long time. What do you have right now? Did you say? If you have 1440p, which it looks like you do, oh, so better to stay. If you have 1440p, if for gaming and that's mostly all you care about, then that's fine. Um, so I think it could be either way, depending on how you look at it, right? I listed off plenty of good reasons to get a 4K monitor, but also saving money is always nice. So if you have 1440p already, I would say maybe if you had like a 1080p monitor, then yeah, make the jump. Um, but yeah, you have a 1440p one already. That's for gaming perfect with the 3080. You could stick with it, save your money, wait for prices for monitors are only dropping, right? Monitor technology is only getting better and prices for baseline ones are dropping. So the longer you wait, the more you save. It just confused me why they would release a new series that has cards that perform worse than the past. It's because you can't get the past cards anymore. There's only so much space that they have at these like chip manufacturing plants, right? Like they can't just keep on making those older graphics cards till the end of time. At some point, they have to stop production and start making the new ones. Now, once you stop making production of the old ones, you still want to provide cards for people who do want something that performs similar to those older cards, or I guess like weaker versions from last gen. So yeah, um, the reason for it is because at any point in time, the company wants a portfolio of cards for customers at all price ranges, or at least as many price ranges as possible. Um, yeah, I mean, I think that's all I have to say on that. Yeah, this is a good way to put it. I was gonna go to the car thing, but um, I don't know if horsepower is the only thing that people gauge by because there are other technologies, right? Uh, like suspension, brakes, and just the engine itself, like that improves over time. But yeah, so one other way of looking at it, it's like buying a new generation of car that's base model that has that 300 horsepower. Let's say like I don't know how many Civics have, but like you can buy that. But there has been previous versions of Civics, like the SIs or whatever, some more sport models that they had that performs better. So there's always going to be people who want the different range of cards, and they stop production of the previous generations or older years. So they will always want to produce stuff across the whole range, like at any given point in time. Hopefully that makes more sense now. um, if you're not spending 200 to ISP, don't even bother trying to stream 4K. Lol. What? What's the most people fiber? Not most people. I shouldn't say that. I'm pretty sure there's most people don't have access to fiber internet, but there's depending on where you live. If you live in like a very populated, densely populated big city, a lot of people are starting to get fiber, which is 1 gig up and down. Uh, is that shouldn't that be enough to stream 4K? And fiber is not that expensive most of the time. I think most people are paying for like gig up down like $100 or less, unless they're getting ripped off by Comcast. But there's a bunch of other alternative companies that have been popping up. Like I pay $90 a month, which I think is too much for 1 gig up and down, and that's pretty. Let me see. Let me see. Can I do this? I don't want to like show my IP. Okay, we can do this. All right. So like here. So I am streaming right now, so my upload is being affected by it. But my download is 936. Upload, hey, come on. I do have people in the house watching Netflix and things like that, but my upload, okay, that's not bad considering that I am streaming 60, at least 60 FPS right now, and I don't know what my bit rate is, but usually it's closer to 900. But yeah, I don't think many, dude, paying 200 for internet, that's too much. Considering the RX 6600 is the sixth best-selling GPU on Newegg, there's a good chance that, yeah, I'm thinking the 9060 is going to be, performance-wise, let me look at Tech Power Up. So let's look at the 9060 XT, and we can kind of work backwards based off of that. So 9060 XT, so I'm thinking, yeah, I don't think it's going to be like 6700 XT levels. I'm thinking it's going to be closer to 6650 XT, if I had to guess. Because these actually have, what's the core count, but it's an older, so 2048. Yeah, so this thing has 1800 cores versus 2000, but it is 2 gens newer. I think it kind of works out that they should be in the ballpark of each other. Maybe the 9060 XT or the 9060 non-XT is a little bit faster, but I'm thinking it's gonna be maybe like within 10% of this card, like 10% faster. Wasn't Nvidia still making 30 series when they had 40 series out? Sounds like the new 40 series was better than 50 series mid. Uh, yeah, they did. Uh, when 40 series was out, you could still reliably get brand new 3070s and 3060s and stuff like that, and 3080s even. So yeah, something about the 40 series production run was very weird and short. I don't remember if there was like a conclusive reasoning or answer that about that, but yeah, it was cut so short compared to any other generation that I've seen in the past. What up, Born Joker? Daniel-san says I've had fiber for 10 years plus. Lol. We didn't have fiber in our area until the last 5-ish years. So I've been on fiber for I think 4 or 5 years now. But before that, I lived in places that just simply didn't have fiber. It was just crap the entire time. My neighborhood just put fiber optic in last summer and they hit 3 gas lines while trying to install it. Oh, that sucks. Or what sucks is when they're trying to install gas lines or sewage or something and they hit the fiber lines. Oof. And you get the outages. That sucks. Okay. I totally forgot. Right now, guys. I'm going to need you to help out real quick. I'm starting to be active again on my Instagram account. If you guys have Instagram, if you guys could help out by following, I would greatly appreciate it. I'll post other things on here that don't get posted to YouTube, like photos and things like that. But I recently was having a conversation with someone and came to the realization that like if I want to grow successful as a channel, I need to, even these platforms I found either annoying or that have done me wrong, because Instagram deleted my account 2 years ago, my original account, never to be seen again. And I don't remember how many followers I had. I had thousands of followers, but I have to start over. But I'm going to try it again. So if you guys can follow me here, as well as on TikTok, I'm going to be posting on here just because there's like an untapped audience base that I'm probably not reaching that are on TikTok that could probably help my growth on YouTube. So I make like short form, or I have short form content that goes perfectly on TikTok. So I'm starting to post it there. So if you guys could follow me, and that would help me out greatly. So yeah, just help build my community a bit more because I've been slacking on these two, and I still refuse to touch Twitch, at least for the time being. Is anyone in the chat? Can you guys let me know? Anyone in the chat super sad that I don't stream on Twitch? Like, if I streamed on Twitch, would you guys rather watch it over there? Like, I don't think that would be many people in the chat, but I'm curious. Let me know. Why did it get deleted? Did they explain anything? Yeah. So, I think someone was trying to hack into my account multiple times. So then they kept on asking for like verification. They don't give. They say suspicious malicious activity. They didn't give like a specific reason why. But I remember up to the point of it getting deleted, they asked me to actually. We're talking about biometric and identity verification stuff, right? They have a system where if they don't think it's you, they make you take a picture of your face. And like I don't remember if it was an ID card as well, but I did that like 2 or 3 times leading up to it being deleted. And then I thought, okay, I was in the clear each time I submitted to them. They said, okay, we're good. And then all of a sudden they deleted it. And unfortunately, the thing about Instagram is that you can look this up online. There is zero way to contact Instagram. There's no support email. There's no support chat. There's no phone number. There is zero way, unless you know somebody or has a family member, I guess, who works there who could like, get you in contact with the right people. But there's no open facing way on the internet to contact Instagram and talk to a human being. Because if you think about it, like a I have a large YouTube channel that I could use as my proof that this is my account and I own it, because the content that I post matches with like my YouTube and other things, right? But if I talk to a human being and they even looked at it for like 10 seconds, they would know, okay, this is you. I could provide the proof and stuff, and they probably could have unbanned my account or whatever. But there's no way to get in contact with a human. So I just accepted it as is, and that account is gone forever. So that's why I had to start a new one. But this time around, I have like way more. Well, I guess the two. I thought I had two-factor authentication, but that I must not have, right, at that time, because if you have two-factor, it's really hard to get hacked. And if I got hacked from my two-factor, other things would have got hacked too, like YouTube and Gmail and stuff. So that might have been a slip up on my part for not having two-factor authentication, at least with the authenticator. I'm pretty sure I had like SMS or Gmail, but I don't know. Did you send them the wrong pic by accident? What else could I have sent them? An eggplant? No. Coalition Gaming Chris says, wait, fiber is the dream, so over Spectrum? What's your speeds with Spectrum, Chris? I'm curious. What does another fellow content creator use? I think the biggest pain using Comcast when I had it was upload speed. As a YouTuber, you want fast upload speed. I can upload a like 10 gig video to YouTube in like less than a minute, which is a pretty big deal because YouTube itself needs time to think about it and stuff. But when I was on Comcast, I remember upload speeds were like 20 or 30, which is horrible. We're talking literally 50 times slower with that. So yeah. But yeah, that was my self plug. Let me see. We can go into the stream submissions in a second here. $1 gig fiber, $70 says Napsa Jin. With fiber, it should be the same. Yeah. I don't know of many, like when I was shopping, well, at least with the different plans that they had, everything was symmetric. I'm on a company called Ziply Fiber. In California, lol, twice as much as anywhere else and a little slow on the fiber in my area. Okay, got it. That kind of makes sense. That Google Speed, yes, it is never accurate. I wouldn't use it. I'm using it because I don't want to use the other speed test one, which I think shows your IP at the end. Though, Chris, I've always wondered this because I've heard both things, and I'm not a network security person at all. So when you run this speed test, if I were to just do this, right, and run it publicly, well, I guess you can see my IP now. This is like my public one, right? I don't think people can do anything with this information, but we'll see. I guess I'm gonna have to reset my router so I can get a new one later. But yeah, there's no way showing this is super malicious, right? Especially if you have up-to-date like security on your router and modem and firewall and all that stuff. Um, I'm pretty sure this is just your public IP and it changes anyways over time. But correct me if I'm wrong. Where all my network specialists at? Because public IP can change, yes, but you generally really don't want to be shown risk of DDoS. But if you turn a VPN on, you're good. Okay, so turn on VPN, and you generally don't want to show this. I guess so one of the biggest complaints is on LAN party stories videos when I'm showing the internet speed. This always gets shown, and it's very annoying to try to mask it out. But the good thing about the LAN party videos is that I post it like 3 or 4 months afterwards. So in that time, most likely the router or modem has been reset, or it should have just changed like naturally, right? In some way or form. Think they usually refresh the IP every now and then, yeah. And I think also to be able to even do anything with it, you kind of have to know what you're doing, right? Like some random kid on the internet who just wants to be edgy, I'm assuming they can't really do much harm. Otherwise, there would be a lot more. It would be a bigger problem that you hear about more often. Yeah, if you were just paying for a static public IP, I'd hide it as much as possible. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I remember if you use Google speed test, yes, that's why I was showing the Google one. But then I clicked that to show Chris and then showed it anyway. So we'll see. I can refresh it if I need to later. Spectrum gig promo at the moment. 1 gig, what? 1 gig slash 35? Like 35 up? Ugh. My speeds are 620? Ugh. Ugh. That, yeah, those numbers, not good. Brother, ooh. What's that? What's that, brother? Exactly. 40. Wait, what? 40 gigabyte, 10 gigabyte up. 40 down, 10 up? The country life? Wait, what? We sure we're talking about gigs here? I don't know if that's the. Were you talking about like living out in the sticks? That country life? Or what are you talking about here? Because you're talking about the future with those speeds. Did you get the units wrong? Uh, let's see. What was my SAT scores? It's so sad, man. All right. I am a horrible test taker. Actually, no, in college I got way better, but standardized tests, all right, guys. I'm going to let you guys know just so that you don't have to feel, maybe this will make you feel better about yourself. So, in high school, which was 2007, I took AP classes and stuff like that, but just taking the AP classes doesn't mean anything. You have to take the AP test, and then if you get like a certain score, 3, 4, or 5, I think 4 or 5 is guaranteed, and 3 you might be able to get college credit for it. Then you have to you take the standardized tests. So here are the 3 standardized tests that I remember taking. I took more, but these are like the major ones, right? SATs. My total was. This was before writing became a thing. Well, no, we had the writing part, but colleges didn't look at that score. I got with reading and math was 1150, which I think is pretty low. So 1150, and my math was 610, and my reading was 540. AP calculus test. If I remember correctly, I might have gotten a 2 on that one. Even though once I got to college, I killed calculus and multivariable calculus. But and then AP US history. This is the worst one. I got a 1 on the AP US history test. That was probably like the most embarrassing. And this was in 2007, so you can go back and look up the different long response and short response tests or questions that they asked. It was about Republican motherhood or something. But anyways, um, yeah, I got a 1 on the AP US history test. You can't get a 0 just by putting your name on and getting everything wrong. I think you get a 1. So I didn't even pass the threshold to get a 2 on the AP US history test. I hated that class. I hated AP US history. I don't even think they use this book anymore because it's been so long. But American pageant. Did anyone remember this? American pageant. Which one did we have specifically though? So the book that we basically spent all year, and this is what the test was based on, was called The American Pageant. I don't remember what the cover looked like, but yeah, my God, it was so boring to me. I just did not care. I passed the class, but the test, because you know, with class you could have like references and notes, and it's based on other things aside from just tests. It's based on projects and reports and things like that. But straight up tests, oh man, horrible. What college did you graduate from? I graduated from UW, University of Washington, Seattle campus. So yeah, I was not a good test taker at all. I did graduate like with really good grades, top of my class in high school, and then in college I did okay. I think I finished with a 3.4 or 3.5 out of 4.0 scale, and university in engineering school. Again, because in college, what sucks is that uh, like the majority of your grade usually is the tests, like homework and labs or whatever. That's worth like what, usually 20-30%, and tests are like 70%. So yeah, just the part where you have to memorize information, or even you have a cheat sheet but you can't have other references, you can't collaborate, and you have like a strict time limit and you're under pressure. I just did horribly on, but I passed, got my degree, got a job, did fine in my career, right? Like when you're at work, you collaborate with other humans. You have infinite resources at your fingertips. You don't have just a 1 hour. Sometimes you have deadlines on stuff, but if you don't know something, you get help from your superiors and your mentors and stuff like that, right? So yeah, school is just not a reflection of the real world at all. Um, we're not going to get into my thoughts on the whole education system, but yeah. What's my degree in? It's aeronautics and astronautics. Hey, what up, computer guy? How you doing? Just thought you stop in before heading to bed. I'm doing good. Hope you're doing well. We just chilling here, so yeah. I hated U.S. history too. Yeah. Okay. Looking, I looking back, I think U.S. history taught from a textbook in high school is boring, but consuming the content on like either YouTube, through podcasts, through storytelling and stuff like that. I think movies, stuff like that, I think is more interesting. And with everything going on politically in the last, I don't know, decade, I think I want to revisit U.S. history to see if, because there have been other crazier points in time, not crazier, but let's just say crazy points in time in U.S. history, right? Like we had like straight up assassinations. Um, so we had assassination attempt this last time or currently in this administration, but it wasn't successful. But still, right? Like it would be interesting to now, as a more mature adult, look back at U.S. history and see how crazy things were. The only thing though is that history books is written by the winners. You've heard that saying, right? It's different because nowadays with online, with social media, like you can't hide anything. You could write in the history books that one, you know, like one president was doing one thing good or bad, but like there's always going to be stuff out there. But back then, it was whoever decided to write in the history books and what their biases were records what actually went on at the time and how crazy, you know, one administration was or not. So, yeah, I don't know. Okay. Dude. How did we get onto the topic of SATs? All right, we gotta look at this stuff. Let's see. A college degree shows that you could show up and do work. That's basically it. I forget what movie that line is from. It's true, and that's what employers want, right? They want someone. Oh, to some degree, I think in college you learn how to learn, but it's just the tests and your grades may not reflect that, right? But yeah, that's how you become a model employee. A employer wants someone who can wake up early, get to work on time, follow instructions, and be able to use their brain to solve problems, which college does help you do. But yeah. So aeronautics, have you thought about becoming a pilot? Or is that interesting to you? When I was younger, I thought that would be cool, but my eyesight is pretty bad. You could correct it with LASIK, but eh. Also, I've flown like Cessnas and like small airplanes through. I was in ROTC, JROTC in high school all 4 years, and ours was the Air Force JROTC at my high school, and that gave me opportunities to like fly planes. That was our senior class actually. We basically learned, and I've forgotten everything, but you learn the instrumentation, you learn all this like weather patterns and things like that, and then at the end of the year, they took us out to fly. But I do not do well in small planes. I get motion sickness very easily. We're talking about like Cessna, little dinky, prop planes. And I don't flying to me, even though it's way safer than driving, it's still scary to me. So yeah, no interest in becoming a pilot. In terms of my degree and like career and stuff, like it was more of the design and structural engineering aspect of it. But yeah, not so much the airfoils, airflow, stuff like that. Also, becoming a pilot, at least on a personal level, my goodness, that's pretty expensive. And you gotta like, get your flight time in, and then you gotta rent, because unless you're buying a plane, you gotta like rent plane, gas, things like that. Yeah, I'm just not interested. Yep, I like my feet are on the ground. Exactly. I kind of hate flying big airplanes too. And not to the point where like I have like a phobia or a fear of it. It's just like not comfortable. Just like a normal like just at whatever airline. Like whenever I have to fly out of state, out of the country, not a huge fan of just being trapped in a pressurized cabin. Have you traveled back to Vietnam at all? I have. We went in. Oof, that was 2019 before the pandemic. We went to Thailand and Vietnam. My wife and I. Do I have any photos from that? Probably not any without Melissa in them. But yeah, we went back. We were in Ho Chi Minh City for like 3 days. It was pretty fun. I do want to go back. Want to take the girls. Gotta take the girls to the motherland. But okay, let's see. What are we doing now? Ba-ba-ba-bum. Robert Fix It. We're in the stream submissions. Didn't someone want to post their PC part picker list that was not Reluctant Hero? Someone at the beginning of the stream, I asked them to post in here, but maybe they didn't. They couldn't get through the security for Discord. But anyways, Robert Fix It. $250 budget build. New case, PSU cooler. Okay, new case, new PSU cooler, 1TB SSD, used MSI motherboard, and a 4690K thermal right fans with remote control ARGB. And 1070 founders for a high school kid. I like the Founders Edition cards. Yeah, pretty simple, clean build. Looks like you put a network card in there. Pretty standard tower cooler. How much is this? $250 build. For $250, that's kind of all you can expect out of a build. You gotta go with older gen parts, but 1TB SSD is a nice find in a build so cheap. And you had a new case, power supply, and the cooler put on there. So, yeah, pretty. I mean, that's what I would expect at that price. And you even put cable extensions in. So, for a high school kid, you know, what do high school kids like to play these days? Minecraft, Valorant, CS2. They could run it to some degree. At least they can play games, right? Looking back at my high school experience, I was struggling to get 30 FPS on World of Warcraft, which is a game, I guess at the time, like, they say World of Warcraft runs on potatoes, which it does. But at the time, because it just came out, it was probably kind of demanding on the hardware that was out. And I remember I probably was averaging like 20 to 25 FPS on World of Warcraft because we had such a crappy... okay, it wasn't a crappy pre-build. It was a pre-build from Costco, but it had probably the equivalent of like a GT 1030 or like something that wasn't really considered a gaming graphics card, but is a dedicated graphics card at the time. So yeah, I remember playing WoW at sub 30 FPS. But you know what? That's what a lot of people did back in the day before computers got cheap and accessible. More cheap and accessible. Okay. Hey, what up, Logan? How you doing? Logan, you shared that you got your new laptop, but you didn't share how you got the new laptop. Do you still have the old tower? Or I think you said you might have put the tower in storage. Am I remembering that right? But how did you end up getting that new laptop? Because the specs are pretty decent. I would imagine a laptop with... I mean, it's a couple... The graphics card in it is what? You said 3060 is a couple generations old. But still, like 3060 laptops, even used these days, I think still run for like $500-ish, if I had to guess. So, how are you able to squeeze that out? But how you doing, man? Okay, Cole Niantek says, had to repost due to accidental image duplicate, but this one's my 2 new flips on Jawa. Okay, let's take a look at this. We got the... Is this the NZXT case? It is, you can tell. All right, first of all, the build looks pretty. It is gorgeous, right? White build, looks like ice blue lights in the NZXT. I forget which case name this is, with that wedge on the side. I myself, personal preference-wise, it's the Ace 9 Flow. Okay, I'm not a fan of, one, how big these cases are, but two, the wedge on the side. To me, it's just strange. The case overall, I mean, the aesthetics overall is like on point though. You got the all white matching everything. But okay, let me know. Do you find this new feet design annoying? I hate this. I don't know why NZXT did this, just because they wanted to change up the look. I hate this because it makes picking up the case a bigger pain than it has ever been before. Usually, a case has 4 separate feet, so that when it is sitting on a flat table like this, you can put your fingers underneath like any sides you want to lift it up. Now with this case, you have to tilt the case first, then get your fingers under this, and then when you put it down on a table, you like risk crushing your finger because there's no like gap. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Normally there's like a gap in between each of the legs, so you can put your fingers underneath and then you drop it down and get it. I hate this design. Anyone else who has had the new NZXT cases with this, do you agree or do you think it's not a big issue? I have a NZXT case that I need to make a review or a build on, and I'm going to complain about that heavily once that comes out. So basically put a handle on the bottom. Exactly, Chris. Put like, you know, dinner tray handles that come out the side. Do something like that. But otherwise, so you're doing these for PC flips. 9600X, 9070XT with 32 gigs RAM. Yeah, super solid specs. Okay, so You built this white Steel Legend card. Let me guess what you're listing this on Java for based on these specs. Okay, 700. Okay, 900,000. Oh my god. This you must be listing this for like 16 or 1700. Depends on how you deal hunted, but to also get your money's worth, like for the time and effort to build it and stuff, and like after fees, you must have this listed for like 16, 1700. I think if it's any more, it might be kind of hard because you've got a 9600X in here, and I feel like people can buy 9070 XT, 9800X3Ds for like builds for around 1800 from like a system integrator. But yeah, I'm curious. Oh, higher? Okay. Then like 1900? Yes, my tower setup is in storage. Okay, that's not my own laptop, Sally. It's my mother's, and we have to share. Okay, so you have a better laptop, and you have to share it with your mom. Um, what does your mom need a laptop for? If she doesn't game, if you could buy her like a cheap, just like any, like business laptop, just so that she could access YouTube, her email and stuff like that, then you could just get that one for yourself. Um, but if your mom does game, then I don't know, man. Then you do have to share it with her because that 3060 is pretty capable. Yeah, hold it like a silver platter, exactly. I have an H7 Flow, which is kind of similar. It's a decent case. I love NZXT's, like everything else about these cases, like the chamber design, the rear side cable management, the size. It's just this. I'm just not a fan. Like this to me doesn't even make sense. This Are they trying to make it so that airflow only comes in from this side and not from? Does that matter? Do people only have cool air sitting on this side of their PC and like warm air on the backside that you don't want air being pulled in from? I don't think like either mechanically or thermodynamically getting rid of the gaps between the feet makes sense. At least I couldn't work out an explanation in my head. I think they were just, the whole NZXT H7, H5, their cases, they've been kind of, they've sold well. I wouldn't say they were stale, but I think they were just looking to do something different, turn heads. I think this was the aesthetic play, and unfortunately, it lost functionality. So to me, that is a loss in my book. Yeah. If I'm building one similar, yeah, I mean, did you get good deals on all the parts? I feel like to PC flip, you have to be like a super aggressive deal hunter. Otherwise, because the system integrators are already getting slight deals on their parts, and they're also building it in mass. So to compete with them, you have to get like pretty big discounts, especially since you're paying cuts for selling it on Java, right? 13%, unless you're like long time, like what's it called, like grandfathered in account, then it's like 6%, I believe. So yeah, it's tough. And then you gotta pay taxes on it, but I guess you can write it off because you bought these parts. So yeah, they took this as inspiration for the H6 Flow for the updated I mean, I forgot which was the first one that got rid of the things for the feet, but let me see. H6 Flow. Oh man. Sorry. I couldn't press mute in time. Oh my goodness. Why am I sneezing so much? Wait, I forget what the difference between the H9 and H6 is. Oh, 9% grandfathered. Oh yeah, it's like 3% payment processing, 6% platform, right? Something like that. Yeah. Oh, okay. No. Yeah, so you meant to get the more squared off one, but you bought the wrong revision. Okay, got it. Okay, but I mean, yeah, solid. What are you using yourself? I'm always curious for PC flippers. Do you guys use nicer systems than the ones that you flip? Like, I would assume your personal system is nicer than this one, but I don't know. Okay. Um, Honestly, the power button being at the feet looks so cursed. That's how my PC is. Are you saying that's cursed? Can I show this? If you guys can even see it, my buttons are at the feet, but this case isn't that tall, anyways. But yeah, my buttons are also down low. That's just the vibe these days. Lots of cases are doing that. All right, Reluctant Hero. Danny, any advice you can provide to building out a Plex media server? Here's what I'm working with so far. All right, so you got your 12400 for 120 that you mentioned, 760, 32 gigs, which you already got for $60. Nice price on that. Corsair CX750 for $80. Anything else to build out the Plex server? I mean, it looks like the only thing you're missing is like bigger storage, like spinning drives for, I'm assuming since you're using it for Plex, you're gonna put like a bunch of movies and TV shows. I mean, I think this looks fine. And then, yep, integrated. Yeah, I don't. What is? I've built in this thing before, I think. Yeah, I have. CH. How many? I would. The only thing I would say is, wait, you already have this? I'm guessing. Yeah, you do. So I mean, I think this thing only supports like 2 drive. How many? 3.5. Yeah, 2 3.5 inch drives. That might be the only limiting factor, but you already have it, so you probably don't want to spend money on another case when you have something that can work. So yeah, I mean, I don't think I still gotta get my server up and running, guys, and I still plan on doing that. But it's just like, okay, I got this other thing I need to do first, and then I got the LAN party stories, and then I got a bunch of other like the yeah. I need my server up and running because I'm running out of space for all the pictures and videos I'm taking of the girls. So I'm just kind of like moving stuff. And I already started backing up my data to transfer over to when I finish my home server. But I need to now redo that again because I've already added stuff to it that now the copy is obsolete. Or like I need to make sure everything that I'm backing up is, I need to just not back up until I actually have to build up and running. That's essentially what I need to do. Okay. Oh, okay. Yes, you shared it. I got it. Got it. Yeah, 9750 XUD and 6900 XT. Which, interestingly enough, I'm pretty sure the 9070 XT is better. But you have a custom loop, so that kind of makes it a bit tougher to quickly swap out and then try to sell that thing, because who wants to buy a water cool blocked GPU? Not many people. It's kind of like a niche. Yeah, I'm gonna rip my DVDs from college. Yep, only takes 2 drives. I mean, if you're just ripping, you could start with, even if you got like 12 or 10 terabyte drives. That's a good start. I forget that not everyone has been a content creator for 10 years and has amassed, tons of video footage. That's the majority of my storage. It's just all YouTube like videos, like all the content from over the years. I do have like movies and TV shows and stuff, but it's such a small portion of my storage. Where's LAN parties out? I'm trying to, like, in the next 3 weeks, because something important is gonna happen, which I guess I should probably talk that little bit about if I can get through everything. All right, internet tech. Chris posted something, and then I want to talk about the Linus Tech tips. Are 2.5 inch drives not viable for a server? Cole says tend to have slower speeds, lower durability. Yes, that is correct. I'm trying to think in my time. I'm sure there's 7200 RPM 2.5-inch drives, but most laptop drives I've ever come across, ever, like just hunting for them in the used market, which hasn't been any recent, but over the years, I don't think I've ever come across a 7200 RPM 2.5-inch drive in my possession. I've come across 5400s or 5400, those SSHDs. Remember the solid state hybrid drive thingies that they had that still sucked? But yeah, I think they were just so rare that I just never came across one. But I don't know of many people who, unless they're doing like, just a random array and they're just looking to add storage and they don't care if the drive eventually dies. I don't know of many people throwing 2.5 inches into their arrays. I would say Reluctant Hero, as big as you can. Also, yeah, I would say as big as you can, just because the process of, I'm assuming you're gonna run it into some kind of RAID array, right? Or some kind of mirrored, like, quote unquote redundancy, but it's not really redundancy unless you do all the 3 steps of backup. But you know what I'm talking about. Some type of mirrors. If one drive fails, then your data is not lost. So because you're doing all that, I would say think about now, like how likely it is that you're going to upgrade, because when you do, you're going to have to clone everything over and then pull the drives and then get rid of those drives, which are going to depreciate, because that's just how drives and used drives work, right? So whatever you buy, just make sure it's enough space for you so you don't have to worry about it for a long time. Basically until the drives are gonna fail and then you upgrade anyways. But don't get like 8 terabytes and then 2 years down the line be like, oh, I want 14, so I'm gonna switch it out and create more work for yourself. It depends. See, so you're gonna do a Plex. It depends on, I guess, what OS you use. Like, I'm gonna go with Unraid, which you don't have to have matching drives, and that's the main reason I went with it. But chat, if you could help Reluctant Hero for setting up a Plex server, what's like the quickest, easiest? You gotta pay for Unraid though; it's not free. So I don't know. What would be better for you? Are SATA drives too expensive for mass storage? What are you talking about? We are talking about SATA drives here. You're talking about like SATA SSDs? Or if we're talking about SATA, when we talk about 3.5 inch, for the most part, we're talking about usually SATA drives. For Plex server people, where all the server nerds at? What would you guys say is the best OS to run for a Plex server? Do we have no server nerds in the chat tonight? Where did all y'all go? You can run Windows, but I think I don't have to use it. I guess, do you care one way or another? I don't know. Some people, we're kind of seeing like the anti-Windows movement as of late. Most people, so many people are trying to run in different Linux distros. So it depends, Reluctant. If you want it easy and something you're familiar with, I guess you can run it from Windows. But yeah. Pedro Akura, what's up? Yo, what's up? I late 2 a.m. here. We're an hour and a half into stream, and we usually go for 2-ish hours, but you still made it for the end. Okay, while they talk about the server stuff, let me take a look at, in case you want to talk more internet tech, this is something I've spoken to Spectrum engineers through my work about. High split would make coax competitive to fiber symmetrical speeds, or even 5-10 gigabits per second or more. Though max 1 upload. Spectrum engineer hated it law. He says the amount of labor and cost involved to upgrade all components necessary to support high split technology made it feel wasted effort to him. As in, for the same amount of money and work, just run fiber. But nope, Spectrum still pushes forward with high split. And biggest issue, set amount of work and testing is incredibly slow to roll out. The bigger the market, the slower the rollout. They literally have to upgrade the neighborhood nodes one by one. So this high split, what is it and what is our network evolution? So Spectrum is just, wait, so the way that you're saying it. So Spectrum is going with some kind of what looks to be either inefficient or archaic method of increasing their internet speeds. Working, yeah, so they're upgrading their network in a very horrible way. Without going too far into technical, we currently have a fixed set of radio frequency spectrum used to transmit data for video, internet, and voice service. Okay. Traditionally for internet service, most to account for changes, we've seen higher demand for upstream. Wait. What is the main method of getting internet through Spectrum? Because they're talking about what sounds to be wireless, and then you're talking about splitting a coax in. Is it not through the coax, like a hard cable, hard line? Do we even have? I don't think we have Spectrum in Washington. Reliable home internet. Oh, wait, we do have Spectrum. I don't know anyone with Spectrum. $70 a month for 1 year. That's their... So, okay, we do have Spectrum here. Yeah, okay. Huh. You know what's funny? I've never seen any flyers or ads for Spectrum, or at least I never noticed them. But maybe because I've been sitting good with Ziply. I have no preference, but for running Linux, Bazite has been amazing. Okay, so if you're okay with looking into different distros and stuff, it sounds like, well, someone here runs Linux Mint. I wouldn't be the person to advise you on that, unfortunately. I'm sure there's a subreddit specifically for Plex servers and which OS. So yeah, you'd get your best answer there. Okay, I think we've gone through all of that. Okay, next thing. So I don't know how many people follow Linus Tech Tips. If you don't, then you might have your own reasons for not doing so. But I think it's pretty well known that I have zero issues with Linus Tech Tips and Linus Media Group. If anything, I think they are really good for the tech community. And recently, I was up in Canada for a tech YouTuber collab with them. So they posted this on Instagram too. Let me see if I can find the Instagram. Yeah, so they also posted this. I'm not sure if they posted anywhere else, but they posted it here as well. Dang, you got 30K likes. But how many likes? Oh, 13K here. So they got more Instagram likes than they did even on YouTube, their main platform. But so I was up at the LMG headquarters for a collab. Do you guys well, so a lot of the people in this picture are Linus Media Group and work on the Linus Tech Tips channel. But there were 4 creators here. Can you guys identify which ones they are? You probably can identify at least 2 of them because 2 of them deal specifically in the budget PC building space. But yep, you do see ZTT. So Zach was also there. And then, yep, we got Tech Joyce here. And then does anyone know who the last person is? The last person was also ended up being a very chill, cool person. And yeah, it was a super fun collab. The video is supposed to be out by the like near the end of August. And that's why I was saying specifically, I want to finish the LAN Party Stories series, like the spring 2025 video, before this video comes out, because the way that it probably will work is once the video comes out, I'm going to have more exposure to my channel because Linus has 16 million followers on YouTube, 16.5 million. So if people come check out my channel, I want them to see, hey, a fresh LAN Party Stories video dropped. Them check that out, get into the whole LAN Party Story series, as well as the rest of my channel. But like releasing good content around the time that Linus releases his video could be very good for the channel. So I'm trying to like get all these things done and get my ducks in a row so that I could do that. But it's kind of tough right now. More drama? There's no drama with Linus. The drama with Linus, I think, was a lot of it was BS. There were like LMG and LTT, like they definitely had some shortcomings when it came to like the video quality and the data that they released with benchmarks and stuff like that. But I truly believe that they've actively been trying to work on it, and they never had any malicious intent. And anything else with the drama, like I think it's been like debunked or refuted. So at this point, you can either go with the facts or you can go with your emotions and feelings. And just, I think most people are piling on because they particularly hate Linus for, whatever reason they have. But looking at all the information, following the drama for the past like 2 years, yeah, I don't have any problems with Linus. I think he does way more good for the PC tech community than the bad things that were pointed out. And like everybody, he's human. He messes up. I think he owned up to his mistakes and is trying to do better. And you would have to ask, like, okay, I think when this was posted on the ZTT subreddit, people were like, Linus is a piece of shit. I hate Linus. Why do you even work with them? I'm like, bro, you're on the ZTT subreddit because you're a fan of Zach. And Zach accepted this collaboration. So it kind of goes to show, like, the person that you kind of look up to or like as a content creator is willing to work with Linus. So I don't know. People take drama way too far, in my opinion. But all I have to say is that it was a super positive experience. Linus and his team treat us, the rest of us creators, like very well. They're super kind to us. It was really fun shoot and experience, and hopefully it should be a fun video. So be on the lookout for that. I only know ZTT and Nerd. Well, you gotta know Linus, right? Everybody knows Linus. And Tech Joyce is huge. She started posting long form like not even a year ago, and she has like 2 million subs. But I think she started off with TikToks and short form. And then Macho Nacho Productions is this person right here. He does really cool retro tech. So I learned of him from this collab, but he was a super nice, very cool person. Macho Nachos Productions. Very high quality videos on like retro stuff and modding. Yeah, Tito, very nice guy. Was able to have dinner with him after the collab was over. Very like well spoken, very chill vibes. Very cool person. I think I was the smallest creator of everybody in the collab, so I'm just thankful and I'm grateful that I was somehow my name was drawn out of a hat to be included in this. So what up, Jake Dog? I'm glad your first-hand experience with Linus was good. This was like my third-hand experience with Linus. I went to LTX 2019 and 2023. In 2019, I did not interact with Linus. In 2023, I did a little bit. I made a YouTube short with him, and then I saw him in passing multiple times. Yeah, I mean, I think for the amount of success that he has, for the amount of, everything he has over his shoulders, the way he carried himself, especially during this collab, even when the cameras were off, even when it was just us hanging out eating pizza for lunch mid shoot, and him just sitting there on the couch with us talking, it was just very down to earth, chill dude. So I think he has a lot of there's like tons of negativity around him and tons of haters and all that stuff, and I think the way that he's handling it and the way he carries himself is like as good as it can get, essentially. So yeah, but just because someone works with someone doesn't mean they like or approve of them. When it's someone like Linus with huge audience, it's a business deal. It's for profits, not for friendship. I mean, could you say the same thing about me? So, for anything nice that I've ever done for somebody who was a smaller or not even a content creator at all, was it just a business transaction? It wasn't for, you know, the actual good vibes and acquaintanceship or friendship and things like that. Like, you could minimize everything to that, but I don't think that's the case at all. Like, I think not everyone is just out there to be the most piece of shit person in the world, right? Like, I think people actively try to do good and be good people. Um, like, as a content creator, I'm sure people have plenty of stones to throw at me for different things, and they have over the years. But you know, I guess there's no way to really answer that question. The only people who know is the person themselves deep inside, and then if you believe in some higher being, maybe that. Success is measured by the amount of haters you have. Lol. I'm very curious what my hater count is really. Um, I mean, I get hater comments here and there, but it's definitely like not as big as. I guess the bigger you get, the more haters you get. It scales. So yeah. I mean, it's all for profit. That's how it is. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's just how it works. Unless you're like super rich, and then you could, just do it out of the good of your heart. But yeah, everything does have to make business sense. But it doesn't mean that you can't also, have good come out of it as well. Did you bring any ketchup chips home? No. The only thing I brought home, I'll show you what I brought home. I didn't. Okay. Uh, the only thing I brought home was something that Melissa specifically wanted from this place called Newtown Bakery in Canada. And what kind? Do they have pictures of the stuff? Newtown Bakery. She really wanted buns. Oh, here we go. We'll go to Yelp. So I bought like. Oh, I could actually post it in here in the stream chats, or I can post it in the food. We have a food thing in the Discord channel. Okay, let me do that real quick. So stream submissions. No, we're gonna post in foods. All right, let me see. Let me see. Where are those pictures? Uh, okay, that should be it. So we're gonna go, but I don't know. These were just some really good bao buns and stuff. So there's this bakery that my wife loves. Every time we go to Canada, we have to stop here. They're cash only, and it looks like kind of a hole in the wall. You know the thing about restaurants, especially Chinese restaurants or Chinese bakeries, the worse and dirtier it is, the better the food is. It kind of gives you that vibes, at least from the outside. But so it was a bakery that has a bunch of like bao buns and other sweets and stuff like that. But let me see. Yeah, so they got like pineapple. What is it? Moon cakes. So we got a bunch of these bao buns, Chinese donuts. Let me see. Oh, this looks. I should have gotten some of these sugar coated red bean donuts. But I was there. I was on a mission. I was on a mission to bring us home some frozen buns so that we could have a quick snack whenever we need to because we've had zero time. Yeah, it's good when it's only cash only, exactly. But so I bought these are the frozen ones, and then the fresh ones are in this box. How much did I spend on buns? 166 Canadian dollars total. And this was on the second. So this was on Saturday before I came home. And oh my god, look at my ashy hands. But yeah, that I didn't get no ketchup chips. All I got were these Newtown Bakery buns. It's a restaurant. They do dim sum too, but we just got the buns. I'll have to find that place in September. Wait, Chris, are you going to Whale Land? Did you buy tickets? Danny, can you link where I can find those bright neon cubes? Oh, tubes. Oh, I built those. If you want, let me see. They're really expensive. That's why I built them. You want to know how expensive these types of tubes are? They're really expensive if you buy them. A single one, and this one is what? How many inches is this one? This one is, and yeah, this one's only 30 inches. I think mine are 36, but for a single tube, $240. So I decided to build them many years ago. If you go on YouTube and you type in nerd on a budget RGB tube, there's a stream where I built them. So this was 4 years ago. I did a stream where I was building these tubes, and you can see them in the background there. But I built these from LED strips, acrylic tubes, and stuff like that. They still were like expensive because dense LED strips are pretty pricey. Then you have to get an RGB controller, and I wanted to build them specifically because I think Dave 2D was the first person that I saw that popularized putting like tube lights in the background. But yeah, I wanted to build them because I thought they looked cool, and it still cost me like $100 a tube. So it's cheaper, but it's quite a bit of work, and it's still not like that cheap. So yeah, I don't have a link for them, but you can either see how I built it from this stream, or man, here, this is crazy. Sometimes I go back and watch old streams, and we look at the names. Some of these names are just people I don't even see in chat anymore. I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Is there anybody in this chat stream that is in tonight's stream? I wouldn't think so. That's the thing about YouTube, right? People move on. People who used to watch me religiously and attend all the streams and stuff, they probably aren't the ones that are watching me today, at least on live. So yeah, if you look at the names in the chat, it's just like completely different people. Chris was probably in this chat at some point. But we probably just haven't seen him. But yeah. Please tell me you're not in Canada. I'm not in Canada. I'm in Washington, which is like bordering Canada. What Robert think? Nope did not have to send me stickers, but he did with a nice message. There was no benefit. It was just a nice thing to do. That's what I'm getting at. Like, there are things that Linus and his team did that were off camera. Like, just not ever to be seen on social media. That was like, that's very nice of them to do. They didn't have to. They already like flew people out. I drove, so they didn't fly me out. But they put us in a hotel. They got us lunch, and they gave us like, parting gifts, as well as just, hung out. And the way they treated us during filming was really good. All those things will never see the light of day. And no, they did not pay me to say nice things about them. But I don't know. It's just sometimes being a good person is way easier than being a crappy one. So there's not always like an ulterior motive behind it. And then now people are going to think, Robert, that I paid you or that I put those stickers in there and the message because I wanted you to say it on stream so I could pull it up. See, you can't ever do anything nice. RGB tubes, 240. Black lights, 15. You could... So the cheapest way to do it is you could buy, like, clear gels. The cheapest way, but it won't be RGB. Oh my god. Clear tube light gels. You can buy these gels, and then you could put them on like normal fluorescent light bulbs, and you can do it like that, but then it won't be RGB, and you have to switch out the gels every single time. But that's one way to do it for cheap. But I wanted RGB so that I can, like, every time I stream, I just come over here with my nice fancy smancy RGB remote, and then I can just change the color like to whatever I want to change it to. Like I can make it purple and and white if I want to. So yeah, I can. The nice thing about RGB is you can just switch the colors up easily. Bobberino, would you be able to look at my PC I just built? 7600X 9060XT. Yeah. I say hell yeah. Yeah, post it in the stream submissions. Stream submissions. We're about 2 hours in stream. I gotta finish up just because I gotta eat dinner, hang out with the twins. I don't know what the twins are doing. Maybe I can. I have never. How do you guys even know there are 2 twins? I've never shown them at the same time. And any of the pictures and video I've shown could have been photoshopped or AI'd. You guys don't know that there are 2 separate twins. So where's your LTT screwdriver? Actually, now that you mention it. So this is the one that I made at LTX. They had their own build your own screwdriver section thingy. And they let the creators all make one. And they gave us all parting gifts of the new transparent one. So now I have a cool transparent clear one. And I think these are good screwdrivers. I've bought these screwdrivers for people before. So it's not like I've never spent money on it because I don't think it's a good product. And I only use them because I've gotten the 2 that I personally use for free. I've spent money on LTT screwdrivers. But yeah. So there's other stuff that I don't know if I can share. Like they gave us this thing, which I don't know if I can share. Bit holder, the scribe driver, which is made out of old. These are the shafts of the LTT screwdrivers that I guess were not to tolerant or something like that. But it's a pretty nice fidgety pen. Yeah, so they treated us very well and did things off camera that they did not need to do. And it's not like they told us, hey, can you like say these nice things about us because we did these things? I'm just doing it because I think the whole perception of Linus is way negative than it should be. And I'm recounting my personal experience. Most of my friends, like most of the people that I've like collaborated with, like other content creators, like you can watch Zach, he made a short about it. Unless you think Zach's being fake about it too, as well as like Ozzy, Scatterbolt, Toasty Bros, like anyone who has ever done anything with Linus, I think just like has good things to say about him, minus Gamers Nexus and Hardware Unboxed and stuff like that. But yeah, you had a screensaver on the PC with the twins. Yeah, but that could have been Photoshop. See, you can do a lot with Photoshop these days. Okay, stream submissions. Bobberino, Lexi and Mia. Babies always look different to me. Never saw 2 babies that look like twins. My twins also, or our twins also look different from each other. Let's see. Let's take a look at this. All right, so we got the white build. What are the specs? I gotta know the specs. But it looks like the Thermal Right AIO, which is crazy killer value. Got the thermal take. I forget which case this is, but one of the fish tank looking. This is micro ATX. I think this just looks micro ATX to me. Yeah, I think it is. Okay, I think I almost picked this one for the most recent build I did. Plot twist. Exactly. They're not even my kids. You did a vid with Linus, somehow missed that unless you saw him personally. No, it's not out yet. He only did a post on it on Instagram and YouTube in the community tab, which I don't think people really look at. Do you guys look at the YouTube community tabs? Like here. I'm trying to find the quickest way to this channel. Like, I don't think people typically go specifically to someone's YouTube channel, then click on posts, and then like, see what they post. I think what happens is if you're subscribed to a channel and they happen to post something and you get a phone notification, you will take a look at like the text or picture based posts. But most people don't actively go out of their way to go to this tab. They probably hang out around the videos, lives, and shorts when they're looking for something from it. So yeah, the video will be out at the end of the month, and that's when you'll see it. But right now, I was just talking about the experience, which is not, really posted anywhere else online. It is full ATX. Wait, micro ATX lol. Wait. XR is full ATX, but you're saying it's micro. It's a Thermaltake View 170. Okay. What do we got? We got 7600X, B650, 32 gigs RAM, 9060 XT. Nice. Something like this. I mean, this is you got like an AIO. This is very similar to what I built. I guess not, because I used the 13600K. But I mean, they kind of trade blows. Performance wise, it should be the same because most things will be bottleneck, graphics card bottleneck. So yeah, but you also built in a fish tanky case. That's micro ATX with the 9060 XT. If I had to guess, the price of this should have been around 1,000, maybe like 1,100. Unless you got like a little bit more storage, then 1,200. But I think like this case is what, usually like $70. Cooler's like 50. I forget how much the 240 IO is. And then just standard everything else. Yeah, I think this works out to be just like slightly north of $1,000. I hate this case. I want to get a Pop Mini. What about this case do you hate? What is wrong with it? Rarely check the post tab. Sometimes they're in my home feed on the mobile app, but otherwise kind of forget they're there. Yeah, okay. I've gotten sick of the fish tank. I also am kind of sick of the fish tank. I'm with you there. Even though, let me see. Even though I recently built in a fish tank. But, I mean, come on. How is this not almost exactly the same case? The difference is, this compared to that is the fans. This one does have more fans because it has the side intake. But for this build, I didn't feel the need. It didn't need like side intake. The graphics card is able to pull in fresh air. If you put smoke down here, you will see smoke being pulled through because the graphics card fans kind of create a vacuum that pulls fresh air in here. And yeah, this tower is really good at cooling, so I didn't feel the need for it. But I mean, other than that, there's so many cheap micro ATX cases around $70 that feature this design. So it is becoming the next kind of like overplayed like case design, I feel. But you want to move on to the fractal pop. It's been a month and I already hate it, lol. Oh man, that's not good. You're supposed to like your PC and not need to touch it for a while. Oh, and the 24 pin can't route behind the mobile, so it comes from the top. Oh, that's ugh. That one of the reasons I don't like this case is that because they put the fans here, they did need to make it slightly, the dimension forward to back is a little bit more compared to a case like this where I think it is a little shorter because this can't fit a full fan in the front even if you shoved it there. But this one did have the feeding of the cables to the side, which was pretty convenient. What else is the difference? Oh, and this one looks like it has the top-based front I/O, whereas this one had it kind of on the side with the ports and the power button. What other differences? Can you install two 120s? For this case, looks like there is space, but like, I don't see the point. Do you need to shove air in that much faster? The graphics card is gonna do its thing. It's got the fans are gonna spin and it's gonna suck up air, and then naturally air will come through anyways. On mine, you could as well, but then like you're not gonna have any space. Like I don't think it's necessary. Again, I think people spend too much or overemphasize like fans when if you take a look just at the you know how everything is positioned, you don't need fans at the bottom. The graphics card, there's nothing blocking the graphics card from pulling in fresh air from outside the case. Putting more fans here to just force more air into the graphics card, it's gonna have what I would call meaningless difference. These cards don't run hot. They run at like mid 70s. I forget how hot. Actually, let me see. What are the temperatures? No, Jesus. Even at 1440p at an intense game like Final Fantasy, running at 99%, the card was running 50 degrees C. I think people overthink fans. Hey, what's up, Albert? Yeah, my next case is gonna be a non-fish tank. I like the Cypress 3. I'd like to build an ITX, but I don't want higher prices or higher temps. Yeah, I got some higher temps in my ITX build right now. Which one's the Cypress 3? Yeah, Micro ATX, Walnut. Yeah, this looks pretty sweet. Clean looking wood case. If you can build a PC with everything available in an MSRP, what would you build for yourself? I'd probably cap out at a 9070 XT at MSRP, even though that's kind of still expensive for what I typically spend. I don't like spending usually more than like $400 or $500 on a graphics card, which is why I buy used a lot of the times. But I don't know. I would build a pretty boring standard like 7800 X3D build with a 9070 XT, probably like as much SSD storage as I can. Probably 64 gigs of RAM because why not? It's still relatively cheap compared to all the rest of the parts. And then still ITX. I like the ITX form factor. And yes, I did have. Yeah, when you put the 120 in, you're just adding more cables and RGB and fan headers that you need to plug in. And then there's like no gap between it and the graphics card. Like, what is it doing? The card runs so cool to begin with. Fans have gotten out of control. For some cases, yeah. Some of the full or like mid towers where they're trying to throw like fans on the bottom, fans on the top, fan in the rear, fans on the side. It's like, bro, do we really need 10 fans to cool these mid-range parts? The amount we're spending. And then people, okay, look, you guys can spend your money how you want. But there are people out there spending like 70 to 90 bucks on a set of 3 like Lian Li Unifans or something. That amount of money is like a 2 terabyte drive or the next upgrade up in your CPU or the next upgrade up in your graphics card potentially. Like, it is crazy to me. I don't know. Again, since I prioritize bang for buck performance per dollar type stuff, fans are not it unless you're buying cheapo thermal right fans. But like they have a pretty negligible impact on your overall like performance. Temperature wise, they can help, but in a lot of cases, people are overdoing fans to the point where even if they had half the fans that they currently have, their PC will still be perfectly cool. What I don't like about this thermal take case is the non-reverse blade fans. And then, yeah, I mean, reverse blade fans. Does Thermalright have reverse blade ones? See, every time we talk about fans, we gotta go for like most bang for buck. Thermalright reverse blade fans. Reverse blade. Okay, reverse cooling, reverse fans. Is this actually reverse? Even Okay, so this one is indeed reverse. So there is a cheap solution. Is there a 3-pack? Thermalright reverse. So that was a single pack, which works out to be almost the same. It's under $20 if you buy 3 individually. Reverse blades. So good to see that there are budget solutions to reverse blade fans, but I'm not sure if everybody is buying. Oh, here's a 3-pack of black. All right, I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything else. Okay, there's no other submissions. We got to end stream soonish. Let me check on the girls and see what's up. Maybe I can bring one of them down to hang out for a second. But if they're both napping, then I will leave them be. Looks like they might be napping. What's great about reverse blade fans? It looks better. You see this picture right here? Because we want these fans to pull in air from the outside, they have to be oriented like this with a typical fan. But because of that, you see this bracing the frame on the fan. You don't. On the other side, it looks nice. It's just aesthetic. It looks nicer to only see the fan blades. So that's the only thing about wanting reverse blade fans, depending on where you put it in the case. Caribbean Exclusify, hey Danny, I'm back and I figured out my crashing problems. What I did was went to BIOS, changed the GPU PCI from Gen 5 to Gen 4, and never crashed since. Do you have an explanation why? Are you using a riser cable? Changing from 5 to 4 to not crash. Riser cable would be the first thing, but if you don't have a riser cable, then I'm actually not sure off the top of my head. It should not be problematic to use 5 with, depending on what card you run, but yeah, that shouldn't be problematic at all. I've not heard of that being a big issue that people have been running into stability wise. Fans pointed directly at the graphics card makes it so the graphics card fans gets used less and therefore last longer, and it does make it cooler, which should increase the life of the GPU. I mean, technically that is true. But we're talking about a couple of degrees. You don't even have to run these we're talking about the 9060 XTs here. The issue is, in theory, yes, that makes total sense. In practice, there's not enough data. You couldn't show me data that proved that, unfortunately, right? Because to run these types of tests, you need multiple identical systems that run for years on end. It's just, nobody does that. It is something that you can worry about, but I'm saying it's such a minute issue that spending hundreds of dollars on fans, I guess if you put Thermalright fans down there, it's not a big issue, but it's not a problem. You can run these fans at like 30% speed and still not come close to thermal throttling. And I don't know what the numbers are if you're running a graphics card for 10 years straight at like 75 degrees versus 70. Like, what's the effective lifespan shortening difference between the two? I couldn't tell you, unfortunately. I don't think anyone could definitively, but a lot of this also goes with gut feeling, and my gut feeling is saying people overspend on their fans. And it's not like one answer is wrong over the other. There's nothing wrong if you have the money to want to spend for more fans. Like, you do you. It's your computer build. I'm just pointing out what my thought process is and why, like, when I see a build like this, I don't point it out. I don't think it's problematic. And when I do my build, I didn't put fans there. But you go online on circles like Reddit where people are very opinionated, and if you post your build like this, you will have people pointing out, like, why didn't you put fans at the bottom? As if that's like the de facto correct thing to do. Thermalright has been my best friend since my Corsair fans bearings blew out. It's kind of hard not to just choose Thermalright fans, I think. Unless you've got some like specific, you need the performance or the noise levels from Noctua. It's kind of hard not to just go with thermal, right? ARGB is so overrated. I like a clean black build. I like LEDs. I don't necessarily like them set to rainbow, but I do like, in my when I did my build. Where's the B-roll portion? Right. I did like the fact that you can make the build look like that, or you can make the build look like that. But yeah, the rainbowness, I like it when you can do it like this. I like a nice white, super white clean build. But yeah, setting it to rainbow mode, I usually don't do. I mean, is this still considered an RGB build as opposed to buying parts to have fixed LEDs? No riser, you have a 5060 Ti 16 gig. Yeah, you should not have to set that to PCIe. Uh, wait, you said you do a BIOS update? I did was went into BIOS, changed it. Okay, but do you have the latest BIOS version? That could be a thing that might or might not help it. It might just be a problematic motherboard, unfortunately, which isn't an easy swap out because you have to take everything apart essentially. But I don't even know if you're still within your return window or if you want to deal with RMAs because those are a pain in the ass. So yeah, it's wherever you want. I'm okay with RGB, but now I only like RGB that wraps around the fan. I don't like the fans that light up the blades. Interesting. Yeah. There are where is it? There are more and more designs like this that have a nice clean fan aesthetic. Um or I guess this one is on the fan blade. I haven't used a ton of the ones that aren't on the fan blades, but it looks like Thermalright does have them. I think this is for if you want like minimal like illumination, right? You just want not a ton of lights. And I think the fans sometimes do help light up the interior of the build, especially in a where is it? In a like a black build. In a white one, it just reflects everywhere. But I think it does help you to see some of the other parts in a dark build. But it just depends on the parts that you're using and what look you're trying to go for. Are any of the girls awake? No. Okay, they're napping. Unifan clones, exactly. I'm not into RGB fan blades, but RGB RAM and RGB on the GPU is okay. Yeah, that gives it kind of like that accent look to it. All the fans in the world isn't going to do much if the ambient temperature is hot. Yeah, because you're just blowing hot air over the same, over the heat sinks and stuff like that. And heat transfer works in that the bigger the temperature difference, the faster it will transfer away. They are now, exactly. I can't set my fans to static because my GPU stays rainbow and RGB Fusion blue screens. RGB control software sucks. Just all of them suck. I guess some of the more open source ones